Start date 2/1/21. Start date. It's February 1st, regardless, 2021. And I feel like God is having me talk about my health. My sister Elisa, who you may have seen in another video, um, felt like mentioning that the other day, probably a God thing, about kind of doing a health journal about my path as far as health goes. And truthfully, I have no idea where to start. Today was a pretty rough day, and yesterday I got no sleep, tossed and turned. Last night before I went to bed, I had a snack, and I talked to my homeopathic doctor, physician, helper today, and she mentioned that I was over detoxing, taking some supplements and doing some things to help my liver function and gallbladder, because apparently I did not take very good care of my body, which I'm fully aware of. And actually, it was my health that kind of predicated my heart to turn back to God and what He had called me to do. And so, as much as I don't want to say that I like the fact that I have health issues, which I look forward to talking about, I do believe that God is leading me into the fullness of joy and being made whole in every possible way. I don't really know what that looks like now, but just a little recap. Even when I was younger, I was considered anemic, and I had issues with not eating, anorexia. And then later on, as I grew, I don't know, maybe 17, I would start smoking everything, pretty much cigarettes and other things. And now I'm 38. I'm underweight, and I battle fatigue constantly. I wouldn't say I battle it, I just am tired almost all the time. I could list a whole host of symptoms. Some people might stop listening if I did that. With things that I've experienced, but I can talk about some of those things later. But I feel like it's important to get the ball rolling and started about talking about it. The brief synopsis is last June or July, I stopped smoking, I stopped dipping, I stopped smoking weed, and it wasn't because I necessarily forced myself to go cold turkey. It's that the Spirit of God inside of me just kind of cut off all of those desires and needs. But having said that, putting myself through an unhealthy lifestyle for a long time, and there were periods where it was healthier than others. So it wasn't like since I was 17, I'm just absolutely. But it's been a process of detoxification, both spiritually and physically, and even emotionally, as God moves on my heart about things that have happened to me in the past. And it's been cathartic. It hasn't been easy, but I do look forward to talking about it more in the future and what God is doing. Leave it there. Thanks, guys.